Well, hey YouTube, it's Elvis Ammo here. Hey, today I'm doing what I call my 357 woods load or hunting load. For some of you guys that like to hunt with the 357 Magnum. So what we've got here is I'm finishing up with a bunch of 357 Magnums. And I'm using my this is a Arsenal mode right here. I'll let you see it right there. It is, and it's a 158. Now I'm using what I call my hard cast load for woods gun. So they're a little heavier, a little harder lead, but they're dropping at about 156 grains. And this is what the bullet looks like right here. And that's that Keith bullet. And I really love this bullet. If you guys have a Keith bullet, you know, in that 158 range, I'm sure this load would work for you, because you know, it's just it's a pretty ordinary Keith bullet actually, but they drop really well, and I'm using the Spectacular Gray. A lot of you guys know what that is, that crazy name. Anyway, so I figured I'd bring you guys along on the last couple that I'm loading, and I'll let you see, you know, what I'm using to load those with. Now I'm loading these at 15.7 grains of little gun right there, which I really love for my woods gun load in 357. It does a very good job. So these with that loading is going to shoot about right around 1,500 feet per second, and I mean, you know, it's a pretty smoking load in my opinion, but more than that, it's a very accurate load in all the stuff that I've shot it out of. So it will definitely do the trick for whatever you need to use it for in the woods. So these are they're just mixed brass that I'm using in 357. This is what they look like, and I'm using the CCI Magnum small primers, or in today's world, whatever you can get your hands on. And I have tried those with rifle primers, and I've tried them with just regular pistol primers, and they all seem to have worked just fine in the past. I'll just throw that out there. But you know, this powder, you know, it's you know, it's a fairly fine powder. So you know, for a fine powder with a 90% case fill or so, you know, a Magnum primer is probably best. Okay, so let's see what else I have. Yeah, I mean, as far as you know, seating the bullet, of course we're seating it to the crimp groove. So overall length really doesn't matter in this case for some of you guys that might not know that. And you can see, you know, I put a fairly positive crimp on that, only because, you know, it's a pretty hard hitting load. So it's gonna kick a little bit, you know, nothing major, but it's gonna kick a little bit, you know, with a 156 grain bullet in this case, you know, with a full house load is what I would call that, you know, somewhere near that, right? So I always put a positive crimp on there, you know, so we don't have any issues of bullets coming loose in the chamber. So there's that. So I'm gonna show you what I've been doing here. I'm just kind of loading these quasi the hard way, right? You know, not a progressive press, but a turret press. So we're going to go ahead and size decap, and I'm going to drop a primer right there, and we're going to go on around with it, seat that primer, and I'm using this Lee drum powder measure. Okay, so it's an auto drum powder measure that I really like, and it actually meters this powder beautiful. Every time I check it, I'm within 1 or 2 tenths max of the range where I want to be. So 15.7 grains. You just go up, let that thing drop that powder charge for you, and so now I got a powder charge in there. I'm going to set my Keith bullet on there like that, and I'm going to run it right up in there, and I'll show you the equipment that I'm using in just a second. I'm going to spin that thing right around, and then I'm going to put a crimp on it, because right now it doesn't have one. So I'm going to spin that thing around there and run that nice positive crimp on there like that. Got a nice primer and nice crimp, and that one's all set. And then we'll come back around here and do this again. Size D-prime, and put a primer down there and seat it, and what this is doing is it's dropping that powder and flaring the case right here, because if you don't flare this case, what you'll end up doing is you'll scrape all of your powder coating and lead off of this bullet as you're trying to seat it. And most people that have problems with leading of any kind, that's usually where it comes from. So always flare this case so that, and you can see, I don't know if you can see the case fill in that. I'll show you. Yeah, it's fine. You probably see it. There it is. It's let's see. It's the bullet's definitely going to be touching it, just near about right touching it. So anyway, if you flare this case so that that bullet just sits down like that, see? And when you push it in there, you don't shave your lead or copper or anything that you're using. So that's how that's working. So we'll put this bullet back on there. And, oh, every time I do a video, I do some crazy thing like this. Let me make sure I know where I'm at. So we're seating the bullet. There we go. Don't call me crazy, because I am. You don't call crazy people crazy. There you go. We seated the bullet, and it's going to seat right there at that crimp groove. And then we're going to spin it around and put a crimp on it, just like that. So now you got that nice positive crimp. So them bullets ain't going nowhere. Alright, so now we'll talk about what I've got here. Just got a Lee size decapper die. And then I got the auto drum powder measure here, and it has a flaring mechanism in it, and then and it's adjusted to give me just enough flare to set that bullet on there without it shaving. And I'll show you. Let's see. This is a case that don't have a flare on it, so if you try to seat the bullet on there, it's not going to sit on. It's not going to want to sit on there, and it's going to shave it. Just so some of you guys that might not know why can see that. All right, and then we're using in this case. Let's see. Did I use the 40? Nope, I used the seating die that comes with this. But since I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and take this off of here and just show you how I have this die set up. You see how far out I have it, how far up I have it. I have it up as far as I can, and I have and then I do all my adjusting with the seating stem. And what I've done inside of here, because you see I'm shooting Keith bullets and it has this flat tip on it. Well, if you were to use the seating stem that comes with it, it's rounded for round nose bullets. So what I done is I used my sizing stem for your 357 or your 358 sizing stem, running this through a sizing die. I just used this sizing stem and I just dropped it right in there. It fits right inside that, like that, and just like that. So I have a flat seating stem, right? So it don't damage my bullet, and that's why all the tops of my bullets look nice and flat, like they should. Right? So there's that, and then and that's the only unusual thing, I guess I should say. And then of course, I always use the Lee crimp die, to crimp the case to get this nice positive crimp. Normally, you don't give it that much of a crimp, but on these full power loads in a revolver, you definitely want to do that if you can. Anyway, I just thought I'd kind of bring you along and let you see what a good hunting load looks like. Now I have shot these many times in the past, and they are a full power load. And if I was going out in the woods and whatever boogeyman was out there, I would feel very comfortable carrying a load like this. Now that's all I got for you today. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to support me on Patreon, go on over there, become a member. I'd appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next video.